Even if you may feel a pang of nostalgia when you think about your Teddy Ruxpin or Beanie Babies, not every item that was in your toy chest when you were a kid should make a reappearance. Several so-called playthings from the 20th century, or even as recently as last year, have been responsible for inflicting significant injuries on naive children. Keep away from these toys and games unless you want to end up in the emergency room. If you do, then go ahead and play with them. Also, before we continue, subscribe to our channel now for more amazing videos. Let's start. Number 10. Aqua dots. Now alright, I'm going to arrange some small beads, spritz them with some water, and your pattern will join together. Doesn't that sound like a lot of fun? When the coating of this toy from 2007 was consumed, it caused GHB, also known as the date rape drug, to be released. This was the problem with the product. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, recalled approximately 4.2 million kits after learning that 3 youngsters had ingested the poisonous parts and subsequently gone into comas as a result. Number 9. Atomic laboratory kits. Toys based on science continue to be popular with parents in the modern era, but we have a feeling that this specific chemical set from the 1960s might not pass muster today. Actually, there were 4 different kinds of uranium ore in the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab, which was created by the same person who invented the Erector set. Number 8. Barbie and Tanner. Barbie was only trying to encourage responsible pet care with this particular set from 2007, but it went a little bit too far in its execution. Tanner the puppy was able to consume and dispose of food. However, the magnet contained within the scooper accessory had the potential to become dislodged. According to WebMD, the forces of physics can cause intestinal perforation or blockage if a toddler decides to swallow more than one magnet. This can have serious consequences for the child. Number 7. Buckaballs. Another illustration of how magnets may go awry is presented here. Buckaballs were never promoted specifically toward children, but after its inception in 2009, they almost immediately became extremely popular and found their way into the hands of children. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, demanded a recall in 2012 after over 1,700 youngsters were treated in emergency rooms after ingesting the powerful magnets. Number 6. Clackers. This novelty toy from the 1970s was pulled from shelves less than a decade later because it posed a significant risk to children's safety. As if the annoying knocking sound wasn't bad enough. The acrylic balls frequently cracked or shattered into several little fragments, which then had the potential to fly into the user's face. Number 5. Easy Bake Oven. In 2007, Hasbro was forced to issue not one but 2 separate recalls for their Easy Bake Ovens after multiple youngsters suffered burned fingertips as a result of getting their fingers caught in the little machines. According to CBS, one of the girls even had to have a portion of her finger removed. After its first debut, the product has now been updated with a newer model that features an electric heating element rather than a light bulb. Number 4. Fidget Spinners. The It toy of 2017 was not only annoying to adults at school. The plastic gadgets presented a risk of suffocation as well. The Good Housekeeping Institute's team of experts discovered that both branded and knockoff versions contained components that, if broken off, may pose a danger to children younger than 3. Number 3. Hoverboards. Even the most anticipated gift of the 2015 Christmas season did not do particularly well with customers. When left charging for an excessive amount of time, the battery-powered devices have a tendency to catch fire and explode. In Pennsylvania, a defective board was the cause of a house fire that claimed the life of a young child. Number 2. Wand darts. Spikes with weights attached to them that fly in the air. A fun game for the whole family or an immediate threat? It wasn't until 1970 that the CPSC decided to go with the latter option, and it wasn't until then that they banned jarts for the first time before making an agreement with manufacturers to prevent them from being sold as toys. Despite so, some 6,000 children were treated in hospitals in the 1970s and 1980s for injuries connected to the epidemic, and 3 of these children later died as a result of their injuries. The CSPC issued a permanent ban on them in 1988 and encourages consumers to throw away any games that they may still have. Number 1. Magnetix. Magnetix, a popular construction kit from the middle of the 2000s, turned into a nightmare for parents in 2007 when one child passed away and 28 others suffered serious injuries after eating the magnets that had fallen out of the plastic pieces of the set. In the end, the company was forced to recall approximately 4 million kits, yet they continue to provide a revised version that features current labeling. Here are a few more which we surely don't want to miss. Mini hammocks. Throughout your childhood, you most likely used one, but in 1996, the CPSC issued a recall for nearly 3 million mini hammocks after 12 children were found dead in one of the hammocks. Due to the absence of spreader bars, it was possible for the net to become entangled around a child's neck as they entered or exited the seat. Polly Pockets with quick click. Kids who grew up in the 90s likely remember the original Polly Pocket compacts, but it was the subsequent iterations of the product that were responsible for a serious safety scare. A few years after the launch of its quick click line in 2004, toy manufacturer Mattel recalled 7.3 million playsets owing to, you guessed it, defective magnets. It was possible for the delicate components that made up the doll's garments to detach, which might have resulted in catastrophic injury. Rollerblade Barbie. It's safe to say that, out of all of Barbie's jobs and pastimes, the one she had in the ninnies was the one that actually set the world on fire. When the skates were rolled on a flat surface, a mechanism in her skates that looked like a cigarette lighter would legitimately spew forth sparks. If you run a blade over something combustible, you are going to have a serious problem. Sky dancers. These flying fairies have a more dangerous disposition than their appearance might suggest. Simply pull the string on the launcher and the princess doll will spin up into the air and eventually land on the heads of unsuspecting bystanders. According to CNN, there were approximately 8.9 million of these playthings that were recalled in the year 2000 after Galoob Toys Incorporated grounded these playthings for good after receiving 150 reports of eye injuries, scraped corneas, broken teeth, facial lacerations, and even a slight concussion. Slip-and slides. This is a product that an individual of a younger age would be better suited to utilize than an adult. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, has issued repeated warnings to people of all ages to avoid using backyard water slides. Adults and teenagers, because to their increased height and weight, have a greater risk of sliding and stopping unexpectedly, which could result in a lasting injury to the spinal cord. In 1999, Wham-O recalled 9 million slides after 8 adults and 1 teenager sustained neck injuries or paralysis as a result of using the slides. Snack Time Cabbage Patch. Do you remember these fellas? Children were able to feed the dolls fake carrots and French fries made of plastic, but if they got too close, the dolls' powerful mechanical jaws would chomp down on everything, including their fingers and their hair. In the end, Mattel took responsibility and issued a refund of $40 to each of the approximately 500,000 owners who were potentially affected by a feeding frenzy. Toy crossbows. Even though there is evidence that projectile launchers pose a risk to children, for example, a toy spaceship that fired missiles in the 1970s led to the development of modern choking warnings, people continue to purchase them. The use of toothpick crossbows became so popular in China that authorities there were forced to take action. According to one video, the teeny-tiny spears are capable of penetrating a can from a distance of more than 60 feet. Even Nerf received criticism in 2017 for its Nerf Zombie Strike Dreadbolt crossbow. Which toy do you think is the most dangerous one? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you want to hear from us again, subscribe to our channel now.